Yo, what's good, everybody? Good morning. Either you're on the West Coast, on the East Coast, or anything in between. I am here, IG Live, to do my picks for Week 5 of the NFL schedule. Right now, it is halftime of the Bills and Jaguars game live from London, and I picked the Bills for that game. They're down 7-11 right now at halftime. So right now, I got a little time to go ahead and do my picks. I hope everybody having a good morning, man. Shout out real quick. I know we're doing the NFL today, but shout out real quick to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Big time win yesterday versus Maryland. 2 undefeated teams. Special shout out to my man Marvin Harrison Jr., a.k.a. him. That boy cold. All right, let's get into it, man. So, yeah, like I just said, I picked the Bills, to win this game in London. Like I said, they're down right now at the half, 7-11, but they get the ball coming out of halftime. Obviously, the Thursday night game, I think everybody went with Washington, but obviously Chicago came out. Justin Fields, DJ Moore, they incredible. And they took advantage of. It seemed like Washington just wasn't ready to go, man. And Chicago got their first win in like a year plus. So shout out to the Bears for that. That's dope. The first game, 10 o'clock, Western time, 1 o'clock game. The first game we're going to pick is between the Texans and the Falcons. 2-2 teams right now. Both teams been playing pretty damn good football. I think surprising a lot of people through 4 weeks. I just see Bijan Robinson, super duper bright spot, for the Falcons so far. Drake London, always playing good football. I think we got to get Kyle Pitts going, man. Slow start, to the season so far, but, we know he's very super talented. Kind of been hearing his name a little bit in trade rumors, but, we'll see what happens with that, but got to get him going. Too dynamic of a football player not to get him going. So we'll see. But with this game, I'm gonna go with Houston, man. I just think, obviously with my man CJ Stroud. I'm sorry, not CJ Stroud. Yeah, CJ. Yeah, CJ Stroud. Big time football player, man, and. We've seen the things that he's been doing out there on the field. Once again, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think, Coach DeMarco Ryans. I think he just got that team just pumped up, man. They're just playing some good football right now, and so I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans, man, to win that game in Atlanta. So we'll see what that. See if CJ can keep it going, and go from there. The next game we're gonna go. We got Carolina at Detroit. I think I don't want to say this is an easy game because every game is tough in the NFL. And when I say easy, I mean like pick. For me, this is an easy pick for me. I'm gonna go with Detroit. I just think they got so much momentum right now, man. They're just playing so, all facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams. I think Jared Goff, man, he got that. He just got that team rolling, man, and they just got so many dynamic players, man. I know he's missing one of his big guns. St. Brown will be out today, I believe. But I think they still win that game, especially in Detroit. The next game, we got the 2-2 Titans versus the 2-2 Colts. I believe Jonathan Taylor's first game is coming back today, so that definitely gives Anthony Richardson another big-time playmaker, offensively. Tennessee coming off a big win last week. This is a tough game, man. This is a division game. It's in Indianapolis. So those division games are always tough. But I'm gonna go with the Mike Vrabel Titans on this one. I see my guy. I see my twin King Henry. Doing some big things today. With the running game, and I see Tennessee pulling that game out in a close one though. The next game, we got the 1-3 Giants going against the 3-1 Dolphins. I think it's an easy pick for me. I think the Dolphins, after last week's game versus Buffalo, kind of humbled them a little bit, but also just, showed them where they are right now as a ball club. But they're just so dynamic. All them speedsters they got. When you got the Cheetah, you got Waddle, you got Etienne, you got Mostert, you got all these guys, man. Just added Chase Claypool. Not sure if he's active today, but just got so much speed, man. And, I think the Giants still banged up a lot, man. And they just haven't found their rhythm. Obviously, without Saquon, that's definitely hurt them a lot. Saquon, get back soon, brother. Miss you out there on the field. They need that dynamic playmaker. I think Daniel Jones really need him. As a safety blanket, able to, run out the backfield or play action or just, get him into some, screening game or whatever the case may be. But I got the Dolphins winning that game. The next game, we got the 2-2 Saints going into Foxborough, versus the 1-3 Patriots. This is tough, man, because anytime you're playing against a Belichick team, Coach Belichick team, they always you got to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. You got to beat them, and it's always going to be tough playing in Foxborough. And you never know which Saints team going to show up. But even though they've been playing some good football so far, 2-2, in that division. But man, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Patriots on this one. I'm gonna take a little gamble on this one. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I know Matt Jones hasn't looked great so far this year. I know the offense ain't been really looking that good, and that big time cornerback, Gonzalez is out for the season. I think he hurt his shoulder last week. He's big time player, and I'm not sure if Mr. INT, J.C. Jackson is going to be playing back where he was originally at, back with the Patriots, coming from the Chargers. Not quite sure if he's going to be in the lineup, but still I'm gonna go with the Patriots. I like them at home today. This next game is very intriguing. Like I said, anytime you're talking about division games, man, oh man, this is a big time division game in the AFC North. You got the Baltimore Ravens at 3-1, going down to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers at 2-2. This is a big time game. And with all the injuries Baltimore has had so far this year, man, on the offensive side, on the defensive side, the one consistent is the MVP candidate. And if you really want to keep it a buck right now, maybe the leader in the MVP race, and that's Lamar Jackson. I mean, you just look at all the injuries he's had so far, to his offense, and he's playing at a high level, and they haven't missed a beat. Playing in, like I said last week when I made my picks, anytime you're going to get some Mike Tomlin team, he's one of my favorite people in the world. Not only as a coach, but just a person. Mike Tomlin is just super dope. But it's going to be challenging anytime you're playing in Pittsburgh. They just super well coached. And like I said, it's another team that you got to beat them. They're not really going to beat themselves. But I like where Baltimore is headed right now. I really do. I like where Baltimore is headed right now. They're just playing good football, man. And I got the Ravens winning that game in a close one. The next game, we got the 1-3 Bengals going out to the 1-3 Arizona Cardinals. That's a 4:00 game, 1:00 game, West Coast. Bengals just haven't looked good, man. Obviously, you got the, all the talks is about Joe Burrow's health. How is his calf doing? Him being so great, what makes him so dynamic is him being able to get outside the pocket, play action, either running the ball with Joe Mixon and then mixing up with play action, him rolling out, getting out in the pocket, being able to throw on a run, to some of those great receivers that they got, Jamar Chase, obviously, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, those guys they're so dynamic, but, it seemed like so far through 4 weeks, Joe Burrow's been, pretty much in shotgun, giving them that room to just stand in the pocket and just try to, throw off his back foot or whatever. But the offense hasn't quite clicked as we've grown accustomed to. Arizona's been playing some decent football. Obviously, Kyler Murray's been out all year so far, still coming back from that knee injury from last year. Still no timetable when he's going to come back, but people are sounding more optimistic about his return. I don't want to say soon, but we'll see. And they've been playing some good football. They're still missing one of their big-time playmakers on the defensive end, Budda Baker. Haven't seen him in lineup yet, but he's a big-time player. So, But with that said, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I believe they can, go down there and get a win in a hostile environment in AZ. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. Here go a big time game right here. We got the 4-0 Eagles, headed to Los Angeles inside SoFi to play the 2-2 Rams. Wish I was back in LA for that game. I definitely would have pulled up to that game to watch that match. Listen, the Rams have been playing some good football, and I don't think anybody would have said before the season through 4 weeks that the Rams would be sitting at 2-2. But they've been playing good football, and I believe Cooper Kupp is coming back. That's big time. Obviously, they got Puka Doncic, who's been going crazy. Most receptions of any wide receiver in NFL history through 4 weeks. And then, obviously, we seen last week with the game-winning reception that he had to win the game last week. And Matthew Stafford just got a cannon of an arm. He can make all the passes inside, outside the numbers. He's been balling. And then that defense has been steady too. Obviously, the anchor is always going to be Aaron Donald. He's going to set the edge, no matter if he's playing inside or outside. But he just set the tone for the defense. But with that said, man, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Eagles. I think they're playing some of the best football in the NFL right now, along with I would say probably along with the Niners and the Bills right now through 4 weeks. The Eagles are just super dynamic, both offensively and defensively. They have it all. The running game, DeAndre Swift, has looked great. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is just a super duper competitor, super duper winner. Can make all the passes as well. You got Devontae Smith, you got AJ Brown. You got another running back. You got Gladwell. You got all these guys, man. They just make plays. They just make plays, and they've been playing like a team that wants to get back to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to take the Eagles in that game. As much as I like the Rams, as much as I respect what they've been doing, and Coach McVay is one of my favorite people as well, too. Shout out to Coach McVay. With the next game, the 425 game, we got the 1-3 Jets going into to Denver to play the 1-3 Broncos. For me, I'm going with the Jets. Yeah, they're 1-3, but I feel like they've played better football than a 1-3 team. I think last week showed that versus the Chiefs. They had a great opportunity to win that game. I want to say I don't particularly love the holding call on Sauce Gardner. I believe the receiver went inside, got caught on Sauce's arm, and a penalty was called. But whatever the case may be, they played great football, and I think Zach Wilson has played great ball over the last couple of weeks, but especially last week. And I hope he does it again. So I'm going to take the Jets winning that game in Denver to get them to 2-3 through 5 weeks. Now, the next game, we're going to go with the 3-1 Chiefs heading into the 1-3 Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, Minnesota's been struggling, through 4 games. They did win 1 game, but, their offense hasn't clicked as much. Justin Jefferson, beast. Obviously, we know that. Kirk Cousins has been playing some good football, but ultimately they haven't played to their liking, to their ability, especially the way they played last year, even though the postseason didn't go according to plan. But, last year they played some really good football. But this is going to be a tough test for them. Anytime you got Patty Mahomes coming into your building, Travis Kelce, and the big guy, one of my favorites, Andy Reid, it's going to be tough. You have to make it very tough on those guys, and I think the Jets did last week. Try to put pressure on Mahomes, make him throw passes before he wanted to throw them. But at the end of the day, Mahomes is throwing passes, no looks, on the run, cross body. He does it all. And anytime Travis Kelce is in the lineup, it's going to give them a good chance to win. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs in that game. I think it could be a really good game, obviously, but the Chiefs will prevail. Now, this is the game of the day. This is the game of the day. This is the 5:20 start West Coast time, 8:20 East Coast time. This is the game of the day. This is the rematch at NFC Championship last year between the Cowboys and the Niners. We knew how that went down last year. Sorry, not the NFC Championship, but the division game. This was the game after the wild card, because the NFC Championship last year was the Eagles versus the Niners when they didn't have any quarterbacks. So my fault. Right before the NFC Championship game last year, but this is a rematch from last year's postseason game. You got the 3-1 Cowboys headed to, the Niners. This is a rival game. This is the game that we all, if you're an 80s baby, you've seen this matchup plenty times, late 80s, early 90s. Sometimes it went to the Cowboys. Sometimes it went to the Niners. You had guys flipping sides. You had Charles Haley playing on both sides. You had Deion Sanders playing for both franchises. You had Terrell Owens playing for both franchises. You had Ken Norton Jr. Playing for both sides. You just had all these guys, man. And it just seemed like those were just the winners in their late 80s and in the early 90s, and they always went at it. But back to 2023. Cowboys playing great ball. Obviously that it all rides on Dak Prescott's arm and his ability to protect the ball. But they've been playing great ball. Obviously, their defense is super duper dynamic. Micah Parsons is a beast. Always up there for MVP defensive race every year since he entered the league. He's just so dynamic. And then you go to the other side and you can look at, what they're able to do. The Niners on all sides of all three facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I think we can go ahead and scratch that. There's nothing irrelevant about him. A beast. Not only manages the game, but makes the plays, makes the passes, has so many players that he can go to. Brandon Ayuk. I know he's been kind of injured a little bit. I'm not quite sure if he's in the lineup. If he is, he's a dynamic player. You got Debo, obviously. You got Ray McLeod, who's starting to get into the game now. He's not just returning punts. Now he's receiver. You got George Kittle, and obviously you got one of my favorite players in the entire league, CMC, who has, I believe, either 12 or 13 straight games with a touchdown. He's right up there with Lamar Jackson if you're talking about MVP of the NFL right now. Super duper beast. Give it to him out the backfield. Either through a run, through a pass, and he's throwing passing touchdowns if those linebackers and safeties creep up too much. He'd throw it over the top for a touchdown too. And then their defense, super duper good, man. Obviously, it always starts with Fred, the G. Warner, but Drew Greenlaw. Their defensive four, their front four is super duper dope, man. They just well coached, man. And Kyle Shanahan got those guys just working, man. They look like a team that's destined to want to come out the NFC, to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl too. So, but with that said, I know we got a lot of Cowboy fans in America. I'm not one of them. I'm going with the Niners. LeBron James. Shout out to the Niners. Good luck to y'all today. But I got them going to 5-0 after this. And then the last game of the week will be the Monday night game between the Green Bay Packers, headed to where I am right now, Las Vegas, to play Monday night versus the Raiders. Right now, Devontae Adams is questionable with the shoulder from last week. I hope he's able to play. It's always great. I think any player, no matter what sport, it's always great to be able to play against a team that you played for a long time, your former team. So I hope he's able to go against, his former team, the Green Bay Packers. But if not, I think it'd be tough on him. I'm not quite sure if Jimmy G is back. If so, it gives them a better chance at winning that game. Obviously, I think Green Bay, they've been good sometimes this season so far. They've been not so good. It's been a tale of two halves for them. Sometimes they play well in the first half and then don't play well in the second half. Sometimes they play well in the second half, second half, and don't play well in the first half. So, let's see if they can put 60 minutes of good football together, and come out of there with a dub. But I'm gonna pick the Green Bay Packers, man. Like I said, Devontae Adams is questionable. So I'm gonna go with the Packers Monday Night Football, and those are my picks, man, for Week 5, man. But all in all, I just want to see some great football. This is my favorite day of the week, especially during football season, man. Get an opportunity to watch all these great games, see what these teams can do, see some great plays, and we see what happens. Now, obviously, shout out to the Browns, the Chargers, the Seahawks, and the Buccaneers. They got a bye this week, so I know they'll be watching, sitting back, kicking back, watching the games as well, seeing what teams do in their division, but also all over the National Football League. But shout out to everybody who love this amazing sport, because I love football, and yeah, man. And of course, Ohio breeds champions. We know that. So shout out to y'all. Love y'all. King out. Yo, what up, y'all? I don't know what happened, but I think my picks went in. Not quite sure what happened. But I think my week 5 picks went in. I believe we got, once we go live, we go live. I don't do this a lot, obviously. But my week 5 picks real quick, just in case if it didn't go or it didn't work or whatever the case may be. Like I said, Thursday night game, I picked Washington to beat the Bears, but the Bears came out and dominated that game from the start basically to the finish. Justin Fields and DJ Moore, they controlled the game and basically took Washington out of whatever they wanted to do. Right now, live from London, we got the Bills versus the Jaguars. I picked the Bills to win that game. Obviously, it's a close game right now. The game is still 7-11 in the third quarter. The next game I got Texans versus the Falcons. 2-2 teams live from Atlanta. I got the Texans winning that game. I believe my man C.J. Stroud gonna keep it going. He's been cooking. So hopefully, he can keep it going. The Ohio State Buckeye. I got to rock with him. But shout out Bijan Robinson as well. And then we got Carolina going into Detroit. It's an easy pick for me. I think I'm going with Detroit. I think the momentum that they got going, they just playing so well on all sides of the bat, all facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams. I'm gonna go with them to go to 4-1. Then we got Tennessee going into to Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis get a big time boost from Jonathan Taylor's comeback. Just got that extension. He's coming back. Hasn't played all year, but he's coming back. He's gonna give a release for Anthony Richardson in the run game, also in the pass game. But with all that said, I got to go with King Henry. That's my guy, man. Shout out King Henry. I got Tennessee winning that game. And shout out Mike Vrabel, hometown guy. Then we got the 1-3 Giants going into Miami. Easy pick for me. I'm going with Miami. I think they're just too dynamic for the Giants right now. They're hampered by injuries. My man Saquon get well soon, miss you out on the field, man. But I'm going with the Dolphins, man. Just too much speed. Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Etienne, Mostert, just added Chase Claypool, another speedster. They've been playing some good football. Got the Saints going into the Patriots, man. The Saints been playing good ball. I think they're 2-2. They've had some really good quarters, not so good quarters, but they're 2-2. But going into Foxborough, I know Matt Jones hasn't played to anybody's standard. I hated to see the kid, Gonzalez, that big-time cornerback that they got, out for the season, man. Hurt his shoulder last week. I was watching that game. I hate to see that happen. Get well soon. Not sure if Mr. INT, J.C. Jackson, is going to be in uniform. He's got the trade back to where it all started with the Patriots after leaving the Chargers. I'm going with Belichick. In this game. I got the Patriots winning that game. Boom. Then we got the Ravens going into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, obviously, like I said last week, Mike Tomlin, one of my favorite people, man. I love that guy. Super duper dope, both on and off the field. Super dope. But I got to go with the, I would say, if not the leading candidate, right there for MVP right now. I'm going with Lamar Jackson. You look at this team, the injuries that they've had so far, I don't know too many people that can withstand that. And them boys sitting at 3-1 right now because of Lamar Jackson. And they're going to get some of their guns back. I believe Odell Beckham is coming back today. So that helps them offensively. But Lamar Jackson has just been steady all year, playing at a super duper elite level right now. Then we got the Bengals going into the Cardinals. Bengals have not played good football so far this year to their standards, I bet. I think a lot of it has to do with the health of Joe Burrow. We all know that. With that calf injury, hasn't allowed him to be as dynamic where we know he can be, both in the play action game, getting out to the boundaries and being able to throw on the run. He's been, playing out of shotgun a lot mostly this year because of that. But I still see them going into Arizona and picking up that win. And then we got a big time game right here, man. We got the 4-0 Eagles going into the 2-2 Rams. I think we can all say that nobody would think that the Rams would be at 2-2 right now. But they're playing exceptional ball. And shout out to my man, Coach McVay, duper duper dope guy, crazy mind, crazy cerebral, super duper IQ when it comes to the sport of football, man. He's just super dope. I believe Cooper Kupp is coming back today. So now you got the dynamic duo, the two-headed monster with Cooper Kupp and Puka Doncic, who they call him Puka Doncic, man, and got the most receptions for any receiver in NFL history through his first 4 games. And we also seen that game-winning touchdown he had last week. Matthew Stafford throwing that ball on the string. And obviously, Aaron Donald always got an opportunity to change the game no matter what. The boy can just do it from the inside, from the outside. He's big enough to be able to wrestle with the guards on the inside, fast enough to be able to wrestle with the tight ends and the tackles on the outside. He's ridiculous. But with that said, man, I got to go with the Eagles too, man. Still, they're playing like they're trying to get back to the Super Bowl, and they're just, they got that leader, man. They got that leader in Jalen Hurts, man. He's just big time, and all those weapons around him. Then we got the Jets going into Denver. I got the Jets winning that game. I believe Zach Wilson's going to have another, big time game. We got an injury right now on the field, Buffalo and Jaguars, and I'm not quite sure who it is, but it looked like possibly it was Josh Allen. I'm not quite sure. We'll see when they come back after commercial. I hope it's not Josh Allen. Where was I? Oh, I got the Jets going into Denver winning that game, and I hope Zach Wilson balls the heck out. Shout out my man Garrett Wilson, the Ohio State Garrett Wilson, big time player. Then we got the Chiefs going into Minnesota, man. Minnesota sitting at 1-3, haven't played to their liking. Obviously, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs, man. Anytime you got Patty Mahomes and Travis Kelce coming into your building, you got the big fella, the fat man, Andy Reid, one of my favorites. I'm taking the Chiefs over the Vikings in that game. Then we got the game of the day. We got a rival game. We got a rematch from last year's postseason. We got the most winningest franchises in the late 80s and the early 90s. We got the Cowboys and the Niners. If you was an 80s baby and you grew up watching the NFL in the late 80s and the early 90s, you love seeing this matchup. You had guys that played on one franchise, went to the other franchise, played on one franchise, went to the other franchise, won Super Bowls with both franchises. You got Charles Haley, you got Ken Norton Jr., you got Deion Sanders, you got Terrell Owens, and so on and so on. So many players came from both franchises and just made a name for themselves, and just big time players, And when I was a kid, I used to wear so much Niners stuff. When I was super young, I was a Niners fan. And then in the early 90s, I became a Cowboys fan. My Little League team wore red, so we would represent the Niners. And then I switched my Little League team and went and played for the South Rangers. And we had uniforms like the Cowboys, and I switched over to them. And we know in America, they call it America's team. There's so many Cowboy fans. But I'm not one of them. But I am a Michael Parsons fan. He's a beast. That was not Josh Allen on the field. Thank God. It was. That didn't look too well. Oh, that was the cornerback Johnson, number 7. Like he hyperextended his knee a little bit, and I'm glad he was able to walk out on his own term. Just saw him with his helmet off. He's doing well, so best of luck to him. Hopefully there's nothing that's last long. But I'm going with the Niners. I'm going with the Kyle Shanahan Niners. One of my favorite players. Like I said, remember I said earlier, if not the MVP, one of the MVPs, and Lamar Jackson. Well, the Niners have probably the MVP right now. and that's CMC, Christian McCaffrey. I think he has 12, 13 straight games with a touchdown. I don't have a fantasy team. I wish I played fantasy this year, but if I would have had the number one pick, I would have took CMC. I'd be telling all my friends, how could you not pick CMC? The man gets it out of the backfield and runs. The man gets it out of the backfield and pass catching. The man is even throwing touchdown passes. I ain't the smartest guy, but I ain't the dumbest either, man. I tell you that, man. But yeah, give me the Niners, man. Give me the Niners going to 5-0 with that game. That's going to be a big time game, though. Looking forward to watching that one. And then in week 5, we got Green Bay going into to Las Vegas, where I am right now. Devontae Adams, hope he's questionable right now with the shoulder. We all saw that fall this past week when he fell on his shoulder. He's questionable. Hope he's able to play. I think we all, as anybody that's ever played a sport and left the team or left the school or whatever the case may be, when you played against your former teammates or you played against your former team, you always wanted to be able to be on the field, on the court, in that match. So I bet Devontae Adams hopes that he's available so he can play against his old Green Bay Packers teammates and coaches or whatever the case may be. Show them what they miss. That's always the motivation. Show them what they miss. So we see what happens with that. But with all that said, not sure if Jimmy G is back. Have not seen that report yet. But with that said, I'm still going to go with Green Bay. I think Green Bay will play well enough to win that game. And we'll see what happens. But those are my picks week 5. I hope y'all enjoy this unbelievable football Sunday and Monday for that one game. And, Ohio Breeze champions. Don't get it twisted. King signing off. Salute.